Hello everybody, we continue with reading the Bible. I had some of my temptations, but now I am even more convinced that those two ways presented here are really presented in a correct way. So we shall continue with reading the Bible. I hope that we shall manage to read the whole Bible, and then until then that we shall have more subscribers and some good correspondence about the Bible and spiritual life. Now when Moses had completed the erection of the dwelling and had anointed and consecrated it with all its equipment, as well as the altar with all its equipment, an offering was made by the princes of Israel, who were heads of ancestral houses, the same princes of the tribes who supervised the census. The offering they brought before the Lord consisted of 6 baggage wagons and 12 oxen, that is a wagon for every 2 princes and an ox for every prince. These they presented as their offering before the dwelling. The Lord then said to Moses, "Accept their offering, that these things may be put to use in the service of the meeting tent. Assign them to the Levites, to each group in proportion to its duties." So Moses accepted the wagons and oxen and assigned them to the Levites. He gave 2 wagons and 4 oxen to the Gershonites in proportion to their duties, and 4 wagons and 8 oxen to the Merarites in proportion to their duties under the supervision of Ithamar, son of Aaron the priest. He gave none to the Kohathites, because they had to carry on their shoulders the sacred objects which were their charge. For the dedication of the altar also, the princes brought offerings before the altar on the day it was anointed. But the Lord said to Moses, "Let 1 prince a day present his offering for the dedication of the altar." The one who presented his offering on the first day was Nahshon, son of Amminadab, prince of the tribe of Judah. His offering consisted of 1 silver plate weighing 130 shekels, according to the sanctuary standard, and 1 silver basin weighing 70 shekels, both filled with fine flour mixed with oil for a cereal offering. 1 gold cup of 10 shekels weight filled with incense, 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 1 yearling lamb for a holocaust, 1 goat for a sin offering, and 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 goats, and 5 yearling lambs for a peace offering. This was the offering of Nahshon, son of Amminadab. On the second day, Nathanael, son of Zuar, prince of Issachar, made his offering. He presented as his offering 1 silver plate weighing 130 shekels, according to the sanctuary standard, and 1 silver basin weighing 70 shekels, both filled with fine flour mixed with oil for a cereal offering, 1 gold cup of 10 shekels weight filled with incense, 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 1 yearling lamb for a holocaust, 1 goat for a sin offering, and 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 goats, and 5 yearling lambs for a peace offering. This was the offering of Nathanael, son of Zuar. On the third day, it was the turn of Eliab, son of Helon, prince of the Zebulunites. His offering consisted of 1 silver plate weighing 130 shekels, according to the sanctuary standard, and 1 silver basin weighing 70 shekels, both filled with fine flour mixed with oil for a cereal offering, 1 gold cup of 10 shekels weight filled with incense, 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 1 yearling lamb for a holocaust, 1 goat for a sin offering, and 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 goats, and 5 yearling lambs for a peace offering. This was the offering of Eliab, son of Helon. On the 4th day, it was the turn of Elizur, son of Shedeur, prince of the Reubenites. His offering consisted of 1 silver plate weighing 130 shekels, according to the sanctuary standard, and 1 silver basin weighing 70 shekels, both filled with fine flour mixed with oil for a cereal offering. 1 gold cup of 10 shekels weight, filled with incense, 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 1 yearling lamb for a holocaust, 1 goat for a sin offering, and 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 goats, and 5 yearling lambs for a peace offering. This was the offering of Elizur, son of Shedeur. On the 5th day, it was the turn of Shelumiel, son of Zurishaddai, prince of the Simeonites. His offering consisted of 1 silver plate weighing 130 shekels, according to the sanctuary standard, and 1 silver basin weighing 70 shekels, both filled with fine flour mixed with oil for a cereal offering, 1 gold cup of 10 shekels weight, filled with incense, 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 1 yearling lamb for a holocaust, 1 goat for a sin offering, and 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 goats, and 5 yearling lambs for a peace offering. This was the offering of Shelumiel, son of Zurishaddai. On the 6th day, it was the turn of Eliasaph, the son of Reuel, prince of the Gadites. His offering consisted of 1 silver plate weighing 130 shekels, according to the sanctuary standard, and 1 silver basin weighing 70 shekels, both filled with fine flour mixed with oil for a cereal offering, 1 gold cup of 10 shekels weight, filled with incense, 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 1 yearling lamb for a holocaust, 1 goat for a sin offering, and 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 goats, and 5 yearling lambs for a peace offering. This was the offering of Eliasaph, son of Reuel. On the 7th day, it was the turn of Elishama, son of Ammihud, prince of the Ephraimites. His offering consisted of 1 silver plate weighing 130 shekels, according to the sanctuary standard, and 1 silver basin weighing 70 shekels, both filled with fine flour mixed with oil for a cereal offering, 1 gold cup of 10 shekels weight, filled with incense, 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 1 yearling lamb for a holocaust, 1 goat for a sin offering, and 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 goats, and 5 yearling lambs for a peace offering. This was the offering of Elishama, son of Ammihud. On the 8th day, it was the turn of Gamaliel, son of Pedazur, prince of the Manassihites. His offering consisted of 1 silver plate weighing 130 shekels, according to the sanctuary standard, and 1 silver basin weighing 70 shekels, both filled with fine flour mixed with oil for a cereal offering, 1 gold cup of 10 shekels weight, filled with incense, 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 1 yearling lamb for a holocaust, 1 goat for a sin offering, and 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 goats, and 5 yearling lambs for a peace offering. This was the offering of Gamaliel, son of Pedazur. On the 9th day, it was the turn of Abidan, son of Gideoni, prince of the Benjaminites. His offering consisted of 1 silver plate weighing 130 shekels, according to the sanctuary standard, and 1 silver basin weighing 70 shekels, both filled with fine flour mixed with oil for a cereal offering, 1 gold cup of 10 shekels weight, filled with incense, 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 1 yearling lamb for a holocaust, 1 goat for a sin offering, and 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 goats, and 5 yearling lambs for a peace offering. This was the offering of Abidan, son of Gideoni. On the 10th day, it was the turn of Ahiezer, son of Ammishaddai, prince of the Danites. His offering consisted of 1 silver plate weighing 130 shekels, according to the sanctuary standard, and 1 silver basin weighing 70 shekels, both filled with fine flour mixed with oil for a cereal offering, 1 gold cup of 10 shekels weight, filled with incense, 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 1 yearling lamb for a holocaust, 1 goat for a sin offering, and 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 goats, and 5 yearling lambs for a peace offering. This was the offering of Ahiezer, son of Ammishaddai. On the 11th day, it was the turn of Pagiel, son of Ochran, prince of the Esherites. His offering consisted of 1 silver plate weighing 130 shekels, according to the sanctuary standard, and 1 silver basin weighing 70 shekels, both filled with fine flour mixed with oil for a cereal offering, 1 gold cup of 10 shekels weight filled with incense, 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 1 yearling lamb for a holocaust, 1 goat for a sin offering, and 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 goats, and 5 yearling lambs for a peace offering. This was the offering of Pagiel, son of Ochran. On the 12th day it was the turn of Ahira, son of Enan, prince of the Naphtalites. His offering consisted of 1 silver plate weighing 130 shekels, according to the sanctuary standard, and 1 silver basin weighing 70 shekels, both filled with fine flour mixed with oil for a cereal offering, 1 gold cup of 10 shekels weight filled with incense, 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 1 yearling lamb for a holocaust, 1 goat for a sin offering, and 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 goats, and 5 yearling lambs for a peace offering. This was the offering of Ahira, son of Enan. These were the offerings for the dedication of the altar given by the princes of Israel on the occasion of its anointing: 12 silver plates, 12 silver basins, and 12 gold cups. Each silver plate weighted 130 shekels, and each silver basin 70, so that all the silver of these vessels amounted to 2,400 shekels, according to the sanctuary standard. The 12 gold cups that were filled with incense weighted 10 shekels apiece, according to the sanctuary standard, so that all the gold of the cups amounted to 120 shekels. The animals for the holocausts were in all 12 young bulls, 12 rams, and 12 yearling lambs, with their cereal offerings. Those for the sin offerings were 12 goats. The animals for the peace offerings were in all 24 oxen, 60 rams, 60 goats, and 60 yearling lambs. These then were the offerings for the dedication of the altar after it was anointed. When Moses entered the meeting tent to speak with him, he heard the voice addressing him from above, the propitiatory on the ark of the commandments from between the two cherubim, and it spoke to him. The Lord spoke to Moses and said, "Give Aaron this command: when you set up the 7 lamps, have them throw their light toward the front of the lampstand." Aaron did so, setting up the lamps to face toward the front of the lampstand, just as the Lord has commanded Moses. The lampstand was made of beaten gold in both its shaft and its branches, according to the pattern which the Lord had shown Moses. The Lord said to Moses, "Take the Levites from among the Israelites and purify them. This is what you shall do to them to purify them. Sprinkle them with the water of remission, then have them shave their whole bodies and wash their clothes, and so purify themselves. They shall take a young bull along with its cereal offering of fine flour mixed with oil. You shall take another young bull for a sin offering. Then have the Levites come forward in front of the meeting tent, where you shall assemble also the whole community of the Israelites. While the Levites are present before the Lord, the Israelites shall lay their hands upon them. Let Aaron then offer the Levites before the Lord as a wave offering from the Israelites, thus devoting them to the service of the Lord. The Levites in turn shall lay their hands on the heads of the bullocks, which shall then be immolated, the one as a sin offering and the other as a holocaust to the Lord, in atonement for the Levites. Thus then shall you have the Levites stand before Aaron and his sons to be offered as a wave offering to the Lord. And thus shall you set aside the Levites from the rest of the Israelites, that they may be mine. Only then shall the Levites enter upon their service in the meeting tent. You shall purify them and offer them as a wave offering. Because they among the Israelites are strictly dedicated to me, I have taken them for myself in place of every firstborn that opens the womb among the Israelites. Indeed, all the firstborn among the Israelites, both of man and of beast, belong to me. I consecrated them to myself on the day I slew all the firstborn in the land of Egypt. But in place of all the firstborn Israelites, I have taken the Levites, and I have given these dedicated Israelites to Aaron and his sons to discharge the duties of the Israelites in the meeting tent and to make atonement for them, so that no plague may strike among the Israelites should they come near the sanctuary. Thus then did Moses and Aaron and the whole community of the Israelites deal with the Levites, carrying out exactly the command which the Lord had given Moses concerning them. When the Levites had cleansed themselves of sin and washed their clothes, Aaron offered them as a wave offering before the Lord and made atonement for them to purify them. Only then did they enter upon their service in the meeting tent under the supervision of Aaron and his sons. The command which the Lord had given Moses concerning the Levites was carried out. The Lord said to Moses, "This is the rule for the Levites. Each from his 25th year onward shall perform the required service in the meeting tent. When he is 50 years old, he shall retire from the required service and work no longer. His service with his fellow Levites shall consist in sharing their responsibilities in the meeting tent, but he shall not do the work. This then is how you are to regulate the duties of the Levites. In the first month of the year following their departures from the land of Egypt, the Lord said to Moses in the desert of Sinai, "Tell the Israelites to celebrate the Passover at the prescribed time. The evening twilight of the 14th day of this month is the prescribed time when you shall celebrate it, observing all its rules and regulations." Moses therefore told the Israelites to celebrate the Passover. And they did so, celebrating the Passover in the desert of Sinai during the evening twilight of the 14th day of the first month, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. There were some, however, who were unclean because of a human corpse and so could not keep the Passover that day. These men came up to Moses and Aaron that same day and said, "Although we are unclean because of a corpse, why should we be deprived of presenting the Lord's offering and its proper time along with the other Israelites?" Moses answered them, "Wait until I learn from the Lord will command in your regard. What the Lord will command in your regard." The Lord then said to Moses, "Speak to the Israelites and say, if any of one of you or of your descendants is unclean because of a corpse, or if he is absent on a journey, he may still keep the Lord's Passover, but he shall keep it in the second month during the evening twilight of the 14th day of that month, eating it with unleavened bread and bitter herbs, and not leaving any of it over till morning, nor breaking any of its bones, but observing all the rules of the Passover. However, anyone who is clean and not away on a journey, who yet fails to keep the Passover, shall be cut off from his people, because he did not present the Lord's offering at the prescribed time. That man shall bear the consequences of his sin. If an alien who lives among you wishes to keep the Lord's Passover, he too shall observe the rules and regulations for the Passover. You shall have the same law for the resident alien as for the native of the land. On the day when the dwelling was erected, the cloud covered the dwelling, the tent of the commandments, but from evening until morning it took on the appearance of fire over the dwelling. It was always so. During the day the dwelling was covered by the cloud, which at night had the appearance of fire. Whenever the cloud rose from the tent, the Israelites would break camp. Wherever the cloud came to rest, they would pitch camp. At the bidding of the Lord, the Israelites moved on, and at his bidding they encamped. As long as the cloud stayed over the dwelling, they remained in camp. Even when the cloud tarried many days over the dwelling, the Israelites obeyed the Lord and would not move on. Yet sometimes the cloud was over the dwelling only for a few days. It was at the bidding of the Lord that they stayed in camp, and it was at his bidding that they departed. Sometimes the cloud remained there only from evening until morning, and when it rose in the morning, they would depart. Or if the cloud lifted during the day or even at night, they would then set out. Whether the cloud tarried over the dwelling for 2 days or for a month or longer, the Israelites remained in camp and did not depart, but when it lifted, they moved on. Thus it was always at the bidding of the Lord that they encamped, and at his bidding that they set out, ever heeding the charge of the Lord as he has bidden them through Moses. The Lord said to Moses, "Make 2 trumpets of beaten silver, which you shall use in assembling the community and in breaking camp. When both are blown, the whole community shall gather around you at the entrance of the meeting tent. But when one of them is blown, only the princes, the chiefs of the troops of Israel, shall gather around you. When you sound the first alarm, those encamped on the east side shall set out. When you sound the second alarm, those encamped on the south side shall set out. When you sound the third alarm, those encamped on the west side shall set out. When you sound the fourth alarm, those encamped on the north side shall set out. Thus shall the alarm be sounded for them to depart. But in calling forth an assembly, you are to blow an ordinary blast without sounding the alarm. It is the sons of Aaron the priests who shall blow the trumpets, and the use of them is prescribed by perpetual statute for you and your descendants. When in your own land you go to war against an enemy that is attacking you, you shall sound the alarm on the trumpets, and the Lord your God will remember you and save you from your foes. On your days of celebration, your festivals, and your new moon feasts, you shall blow the trumpets over your holocausts and your peace offerings. This will serve as a reminder of you before your God. I, the Lord, am your God. In the 2nd year, on the 20th day of the 2nd month, the cloud rose from the dwelling of the commandments. The Israelites moved on from the desert of Sinai by stages until the cloud came to rest in the desert of Paran. The first time that they broke camp at the bidding of the Lord through Moses. The camp of the Judahites, under its own standard, are arranged in companies, was the first to set out. Nashon, son of Aminadab, was over their host, and Nathanael, son of Zuar, over the host of the tribe of Issachar, and Eliab, son of Helon, over the host of the tribe of Zebulun. Then after the dwelling was dismantled, the clans of Gershon and Merari set out, carrying the dwelling. The camp of the Reubenites, under its own standard and arranged in companies, was the next to set out, with Elizur son of Shedeur over their host, and Shalumiel son of Zurishaddai over the host of the tribe of Simeon, and Eliasaph son of Reuel over the host of the tribe of Gad. The clan of Kohath then set out, carrying the sacred objects for the dwelling, which was to be erected before their arrival. The camp of the Ephraimites next set out under its own standard and arranged in companies with Elishama, son of Amihud, over their host, and Gamaliel, son of Pedazur, over the host of the tribe of Manasseh, and Abidan, son of Gideoni, over the host of the tribe of Benjamin. Finally, as a rear guard for all the camps, the camp of the Danites set out under its own standard and arranged in companies with Ahiezer, son of Ammishaddai, over their host, and Pagiel, son of Okran, over the host of the tribe of Asher, and Ahira, son of Enan, over the host of the tribe of Naphtali. This was the order of departure for the Israelites, company by company. As they were setting out, Moses said to his brother-in-law Hobab, son of Reuel the Midianite, "We are setting out for the place which the Lord has promised to give us. Come with us and we will be generous toward you, for the Lord has promised prosperity to Israel. But he answered, No, I will not come. I am going instead to my own country and to my own kindred. Moses said, Please do not leave us. You know where we can camp in the desert, and you will serve as eyes for us. If you come with us, we shall share with you the prosperity the Lord will bestow on us. They moved on from the mountain of the Lord, a 3 days journey, and the ark of the covenant of the Lord, which was the seek out their resting place, went the 3 days journey with them. And when they set out from camp, the cloud of the Lord was over them by day. Whenever the ark set out, Moses would say, Arise, O Lord, that your enemies may be scattered and those who hate you may flee before you. And that when it came to rest, he would say, Return, O Lord, you who ride upon the clouds, to the troops of Israel. Thank you. We are stopping here. I wish to all of us that we find our cloud who will help us to decide when to rest and when to move on, just as the Lord wants from us. Thank you. Bye bye.